support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps you protected when shopping online. Get $5 to try it now by using promo code QZZ2J.
All right, hey, we're going to welcome Mike Battaglia. You know, I knew a guy by the name
It's
of
a good
Battaglia.
Irish name.
Yes, it is. CEO of Blink Charging.
Correct.
And just by the little bio I read on the computer, you guys are in the EV charging business.
That's exactly what we do.
So this is going to be an interesting conversation because I have some comments, but I'd love to hear what you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick background on Blink. We are one of the largest EV infrastructure companies in the United States. We are full service and vertically integrated. So what does that mean? It means we provide both home charging solutions, commercial, both level 2 and DC fast charging. So if you're not familiar with those terms, the level 2 chargers are sometimes called the slower chargers, and the DC fast chargers are sometimes referred to as superchargers.
Right.
So we provide all of those throughout the value chain. We also offer installation services as well as designing, developing, deploying our own software network. So we are the only fully vertically integrated EV charging company in the U.S. We manufacture, we offer the full range of products and services, install, and software network that runs it all.
So you're the company that someone that wants to build a network is going to come to and say, we want to put 1,000 chargers across our stores or whatever it may be.
That's exactly correct. And it's across, and it's a great lead-in, it's actually across multiple industries. So people ask us, well, where does Blink concentrate? And, you know, what industries, what vertical markets? And the answer is all of them. And that sounds maybe trite, it sounds too broad, but the truth is that every parking spot is an opportunity. So for us, it's about understanding the client's needs, whatever the vertical market they're in. They could be a fleet customer, they could be a shopping center, they could be a restaurant or a hotel, and we help them determine what chargers are the right chargers, where should they be placed, and when should we place them.
Right.
So right charger, right place, right time is what we focus on.
It makes sense. You know, I think in cities, semi-populated cities, the charging situation is getting pretty good. Could be better. Where I live, consider rural America, 30,000 people in the main town, 2 chargers.
2 chargers, yep.
And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, such an opportunity for someone to put some chargers in. And now, even in my state, or I live in southern Michigan, where I live, yeah, the folks can have the 110 chargers, the slow chargers in their home, or hook them into their dryer or whatever. But the grid is becoming challenged, and some townships are saying no chargers because there's not enough power. So I'm thinking to myself, where are we going to go with this? So I think the more public charging stations are going to be the solution for some locations.
Yeah, and it's a solution, right? And I think one of the things that we have to be careful of in the EV charging business or the adoption of battery electric vehicles in general is that we don't get myopic on any one thing.
Right.
So when we talk about, hey, there's not enough power, one of the things to keep in mind is there is more than enough power generation in the United States.
Right.
It's that last distribution aspect. That's the
big enough cable going to this point.
You got it, right? And so I think the point is we have multiple problems or issues to solve, but we're going to solve them. And you know, one of the things that I often say is, you know, don't bet against America, right? So, you know, when we talk about you know, utility companies in the grid, are they going to be upgrading? Yes. Is it going to be fast enough? No. Right? But they're going to do it.
Sure.
The second thing is you have innovative, highly technologically advanced solutions for things what are called microgrids, right? So that is, hey, I've got chargers, but I have battery backup storage that provide resilience to the grid. If something happens to the grid, it goes down, it's taxed, whatever. You know, we can pull electricity from the battery in order to charge a car.
Is that presenting a challenge for you guys in deployments, is actually having enough, let's say, amps on a circuit?
So perfect lead in for me. So when you look at the industry and you look at where is EV charging infrastructure going to be deployed and what's needed, an amazing statistic, there's actually a few, but I'll start with one. It is that 90% of all charging events will happen on a level 2 charging station. Only 10% happen at a DC fast charger.
That's interesting.
Yet the conversation in these settings, in the press, whatever it might be, is the inverse. The conversation's 90% devoted to DC and 10% devoted to level 2. So when we talk about deployment, when we talk about providing enough infrastructure out there for people to feel comfortable, it has to be level 2, right, as a core part of this, because level 2 is a fraction of the cost for the charging station itself than a DC fast charger. The infrastructure to put in is much less expensive, and I can do it in a fraction of the time.
The level 2 charger I have, I guess it's a level 2, because it takes 8 hours to charge the vehicle. It's in my home in Hawaii. Again, car pulls in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She plugs it in. Whatever time is the most efficiency on cost on electricity, it kicks on, it charges the vehicle. In the morning, it's ready to go.
And that's the model, right? So you look at, when it comes to, you talk about 8 hours. So another phenomenal statistic is that the average vehicle in the United States, personal use, non-fleet, sits idle for 90% of the time, right? We love our cars, right?
Yeah.
But they don't get used that much. So, for myself, we have 2 vehicles in the household, and we have an internal combustion engine car, and we have a Tesla. And to your point, we plug it in at night, and if it takes 4, 5, 6 hours, it doesn't matter because we're sleeping, we wake up and it's full.
That's right. Yeah. And the range has gotten better. The vehicle she has, well, we won't talk about the range on that one. It's older. So it is what it is. So this is pretty fascinating to me. And, again, I literally live in rural America, and you don't see too many electric vehicles. And my contention is maybe it's a little bit perception, but also I think it's the worry that it's power anxiety.
Range anxiety.
Range anxiety.
So lack of EV infrastructure is the number one reason why people do not buy an electric vehicle.
I absolutely believe that.
And so it's incumbent upon Blink and others in the industry to accelerate that installation process. And every day that goes by, we are installing more and more and more chargers. Literally every single day we have chargers going into the ground. So every day that goes by, that's going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. The other thing to keep in mind is we need to make sure that we're putting the infrastructure in the right spots, right, where there's real demand.
Right.
So, we got to make sure that the highly populated metro areas that have tons of electric vehicles registered, that we service that, right? And then it's just going to kind of mushroom out. And there'll be adoption that extends out to towns like yours. There'll be infrastructure that gets put in there.
It's going to be the edge because, again, there's not a high population of electric vehicles. So there isn't, like you said, most people are level 2.
Yep.
And when they're traveling, they have to figure that out then,
Yeah, and the highway fast charging is, Americans want to be able to not just run around town, right? They want to be able to jump in the car and go long distances.
That's right.
They want to be able to go from, Ohio to Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And so that's where the electric vehicle infrastructure program from President Biden, they call it NEVI. It's called NEVI. That's it's designed to serve that need, right? So 500,000 charging stations, fast chargers along highway corridors to enable Americans to be able to go from point A to point B and not worry about running out of juice.
If you are a business owner and you're having your customers ask if you have EV charging, you need to call Blink.
BlinkCharging.com is the best way to contact us.
BlinkCharging.com. All across the United States?
All across the United States, and in fact, 26 countries internationally.
Awesome. BlinkCharging.com. They're the ones that help you get it done, get it hooked up. You don't have to figure it out. Let them figure it out.
We'll help in any way you need us to.
Awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Very nice. Thanks.
Very nice. It's nice to see this side of it and hearing what's happening for the visual side of it, you know. Very, very good. Congratulations and good luck with the rest of the show.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks so much.
The Tech Podcast Network CES 2024 coverage is executive produced by Michelle Mendez. Technical directors are Kurt Corliss and Adam Barker. Associate producers are Nancy Ertz, Clinton Millsap, Sergio Velasquez, and Terry Willingham. Voiceover by Aaron Hurst. Our hosts are Marlo Anderson, Don Bain, Todd Cochran, Scott Ertz, and Christopher Jordan. Studio and equipment are provided by PLUGHITZ Productions. This has been a Tech Podcast Network broadcast, copyright 2024.